and it sounds like it was very commensurate with Joseph's. Did the mother, did his mother or your grandmother have a store? Because he keeps referring to a store, but I haven't quite been able to clarify what that is.
Yes, so she did. So, groceries.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, good. That helps.
Yeah, and I remember, my mom saying, she purposely acted dumb so that she wouldn't have to work.
Your mother sounds like she was such a cool kid and teenager,
I think my mom was an imp. My mom was an imp, and she just, needed a lot of activity. Yeah.
What did your mother tell you before you ever met your uncle? What kind of things did she tell you about him? Or how did she characterize him to you?
Well, that's hard because I can't remember. That would have been before I was 12.
Oh, no, that's all right. I just wondered. I mean, did you know about the pictures that he took of the Soviet invasion and things like that?
Well, I did, but at what age I became aware of that, I'm not really sure. But my parents were very open about all of that stuff,
Right.
I remember when I was, in grade school having to do some sort of, history of our lives. My dad sitting down and giving me all the information, more information probably than I could probably manage at that stage. Yeah.
Well, it also sounds like with Joseph's and your mom's family, that they were part of a resistance at that time too, as much as there was one in their village. Your mom taught,
Yeah, I have to say I don't know an awful lot about that. I know my mom talks about some young man. I think they hid him, but I would have to double check with her. And he was I guess he was a Soviet soldier who had ran away from the Soviets, defected. And then she said that they shot him. She thinks that the Soviets shot him because he was a defector. So.
That's interesting because I thought, I have to go back to the interviews because they talked about, but it was a Nazi that they mentioned being shot outside of or very near their house in Valkov. I'll check the interviews.
Yeah, well, I can check and I'll ask my mom again just to clarify that point because she didn't talk that much about. I know when I was younger, she mentioned that it was a little scary. Sometimes you'd find a dead body in the fields, right?
Right, and Joseph doesn't remember any of this because he was younger. So that would actually be interesting to know. But I got the feeling that that your grandfather, and then and when Joseph said your mother would bring the soldiers who were fighting against the Nazis. So they were he thought they were Czech, but maybe they were working with the Soviet army, or maybe they were Soviets, but helped bring them food and things from your grandmother's store. But I don't know what Joseph actually remembers and what he's been told because he would have been so little then too,
Right. Yeah, so my mom was born in 1933.
And he was born in 1938.
I can ask her again. I have to say that my mom's memory at this point in time is also beginning to slip.
Oh, no, and I don't want you to do anything that's remotely uncomfortable for you or your mother. My goal here is, aside from just getting your perspective, which is wonderful, the stories you're telling me are just perfect, is also just to help to clarify certain things because of what Joseph remembers and what he doesn't remember, because he was a kid, and because I never met the grandparents, and so it's mostly like just double checking, because Joseph too is so intent on everything being absolutely precise, and he doesn't trust memory at all. So it's interesting, he's written, have you seen his notebooks where he's written so much down?
I've seen his notebooks.
Yeah.
They're quite incredible.
Yeah, right? They're amazing. But it's interesting because when I ask him a question and he can't find the notebook immediately about where he has written about this, And I say, it's okay, just tell me what you remember because I'm interested in that process too. He doesn't really want to, he just doesn't trust memory at all. He thinks it's all an invention, which I guess given the circumstances of how they grew up, one can imagine, you know, if you grow up and you've got the Nazis and then you've got the Soviet, and then you've got the Soviet invasion, you know, you can see where you wouldn't trust language all the time or trust memory and things like that because people deny it. But it's really interesting. And then have you met Joseph's other two children? You met Becky recently, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I never met. It was my brother. My brother just recently took me to.
Oh, right.
I went with them to Prague. I mean, my parents are at the state where neither one of them could travel on their own. Certainly.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's quite difficult now for my father. And again, you know, it was lovely. Joseph called the other day, right? I mean, we know he's busy, you know, he's traveling, but he always manages to call and touch base. And if she doesn't hear from him for a while, she goes, "Have you heard from Joseph?" You know. Sorry, what were we talking about?
No, that's good. I was just asking you if you'd met Becky or Nicola.
Becky. So Becky I haven't met, but my brother did, and my parents did for the first time just a couple of months ago, right?
Right.
So you know, we had a lot of interaction with Lucina when Lucina was little, and her mom Jill. And Jill, of course, was a photographer as well, and she sent us photos, and so, and then, you know, I traveled back, and I have beautiful photos that I took of Lucina in you know, in the countryside, so we'd travel with Joseph and Lucina maybe for a day or something, go back to Lvov. So I've grown up knowing Lucina quite well, but with Nicola, my take on it is, and I don't know how public this should be, but anyway, is that his mother, I guess, was very protective, and we never got any photos.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so because Joseph doesn't, you know, he doesn't send photos. That's not his thing, right?
Right.
I laughed once when Lucina was maybe 4 or 5, and we were in person with Joseph, and I looked at, he was showing us a picture of Lucina, and it was like a studio photo of his daughter. I don't know, somebody had a studio picture taken, and he gave it. Oh, let me tell you about my wedding, too.
Oh, yeah.
Story, but I'm trying to keep track of different things here in my head.
Oh, thank you.
So I did meet Nicola when I went to Prague with my 2 children 2 or 3 years ago. But it was a very large gathering of family, so I got a minimal chance to interact with him. And, you know, my Italian used to be good, but it's not anymore. And his English is so it was a little harder to communicate. Whereas with Lucina, of course, being raised by Jill, she speaks perfect English.
Sure.
So there's good communication. And I know my parents really enjoyed meeting Becky.
She looks so much like Joseph, it's freaky. I don't know if they told you that.
Nobody had mentioned that to me. I had asked, but they didn't see it themselves. But my mom unfortunately has lost her vision for up close. She can still see distance, but her, you know, Joseph's mother had glaucoma and went blind.
Okay.
And my mom says it's a good thing that she inherited it and not Joseph.
That's so sweet of your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really, when I met Becky, we met in London and we met at a museum like cafe, and I said, well, how will we recognize each other? And we shared what we were wearing or carrying. And then this woman walked in and she was the female iteration of Joseph, but not even genderish. I mean, because Joseph doesn't look particularly macho and Becky didn't look particularly like feminine. And so the two of them, it was unbelievable to me how much they looked alike.
I don't know, something. I'll have to go back. My brother sent me, you know, pictures and text messages and stuff like that. I didn't see it, and he didn't mention it, so
Well, maybe in person, or maybe it's different in pictures versus in person, but I can't imagine. I'm sure you would see it unless it's something in me, but I